What is up, everybody? Gary Simon here. So today we got kind of like a channel first because I've never uploaded this type of content where I highlight industry drama, so to speak. But I thought this one was really interesting, and I want to know your opinions, especially if you've used both Wix and WordPress in the past. And so basically what has happened, there's been kind of like a back and forth between the heads of Wix and WordPress over some ads that are, I guess you could say, attack ads that Wix initiated versus WordPress. And in this video, I'm going to kind of just take you from the timeline in the event of things that happen, because it's strange and interesting at the same time. So here's how it all began. Basically, Wix sent dozens of people. This is Wes Boss. I think that's how I've never heard his name like actually said, so it's Bose or Boss, I'm not sure. So Wix sent dozens of people super expensive headphones, and these are like Bose wireless headphones, pretending they are from WordPress with a personalized video warning me about their new anti-WordPress campaign, right? So you could see this is the package that he received. I think something like 50 people, and these are kind of like influencer people who have dealings with WordPress or did have dealings with WordPress. So obviously they spent a lot of money, although for a massive company that's valued at like $20 billion like Wix is, it's not that huge of a deal. And you can see there's a little note on here. It says, "Hey Wes, put these on, scan the code, and hear me out." So they scan this QR code, and this video plays. Now, because I know little about, I don't want my channel to get struck or any type of demonetization or whatever. I'm not going to play the video, but I did link this video and all the other videos that you can watch here in the YouTube description. This is going to be the first one actually that you can click, so you can get an idea of what's happening here and what these influencers actually saw. And it's basically this guy with the WordPress logo, and this actor here he's a recurrent figure that is supposed to symbolize WordPress. So they make him look goofy. Basically, in this particular video, he's warning Wes and all these other influencers that Wix is about to release these attack ads or something against them, and they make him look stupid and make him forget stuff because of memory errors and all that stuff. So check that video out, come back here, and then I guess a few days after, I'm not sure how long after, obviously pretty quickly after, Wix uploaded all these videos. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 7 total. You can see the little right button. There's 7 total videos, and they obviously are all ad format. The production value is very high. It's something like you would see on a commercial, like on regular TV. So they spent a lot of money on this, and these videos aren't all that popular based on at least those who are watching them. Now, the argument could be made that this is just all WordPress people, disliking these videos. But basically, it's just kind of, it's a parody. It's a lot of them are just attacking the shortcomings of WordPress, at least from Wix's perspective. And so, like I said, it's this guy who they just make look absolutely ridiculous. You see this guy in a few of the videos who's supposed to be like the tech guy who's responsible for updating and fixing and maintaining the WordPress website, which is this guy right here. They just make him look so stupid. So a few days pass, and Matt Mullenweg, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, released this kind of like a response, Wix and their dirty tricks. And Matt, of course, he's the main figure behind WordPress. I'm gonna read through this, and then we're gonna see a response from the guy behind Wix. And then there's even another response after that. So Wix, the website builder company you may remember from stealing WordPress code and lying about it, has now decided the best way to gain relevance is attacking the open source WordPress community in a bizarre set of ads. They can't even come up with original concepts for attack ads and have tried to rip off Apple's Mac vs. PC ads, but tastefully personify the WordPress community as an absent, drunken father in a therapy session. Now, apparently, this kind of rubs Matt the wrong way. He describes in this video, which is linked there in the YouTube description, that this happened at a time when there was issues with his father. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly if he died recently or it was something like that. But nonetheless, I think that was kind of fuel for the fire for him to write this article. I have a lot of empathy for whoever is forced to work on these ads, including the actors. It must have felt bad working on something like Encyclopedia Britannica attacking Wikipedia. Of course, he's correlating Wix as being like the old school, like nothing compared to, Wikipedia, aka WordPress. WordPress is a global movement of hundreds of thousands of volunteers and community members coming together to make a web a better place. Now, this seems like a pretty decent point to make because, as you'll see, that the argument that he makes is this is kind of strange for a private for-profit company to attack, like an open source community. That's the structure is just so very different. The code and everything you put into it belongs to you, and its open source license ensures that you're in complete control now and forever. So of course, this is a huge advantage that WordPress has over Wix. And WordPress is free and also gives you freedom. So Wix is a for-profit company with a valuation that peaked at around $20 billion, and whose business model is getting customers to pay more and more every year and making it difficult to leave or get a refund. Don't take my word for it. Look at their investor presentations. They are so insecure that they also the only website creator I'm aware of that doesn't allow you to export your content. So they're like a roach motel where you can check in, but you can never check out. Once you buy into the proprietary stack, you're locked in, which even their support documentation admits. And this is a copy and paste, like a screenshot of that portion. So if we're comparing website builders to abusive relationships, Wix is the one that locks you in the basement and doesn't let you leave. I'm surprised consumer protection agencies haven't gone after them. Now, philosophically, I believe in open source, and if WordPress isn't a good fit for you, there are other great open source communities like Drupal, Joomla, Gecko, and Typo3. We also have a great relationship with some of our proprietary competitors, and I have a huge respect for the teams at Shopify and Squarespace, and even though we compete, I've always seen them operate with integrity, and I'd recommend them without hesitation. And I have to believe that users will care about that in the long run, and maybe that's why Squarespace just passed up Wix in market share. They natively support exporting into WordPress format and don't have to resort to dirty tricks to be successful. So you can continue on with this. It's just this last paragraph here. And then a few days after that, on the Wix.com blog, what is this guy's name? Oh, Avashi Abrahami or something like that. I butcher everybody's name. All right, one thing I don't like, by the way, like if I'm trying to like zoom up here, this header takes up so much. Anyways, but I want to make it large enough to where you can read and follow along if you wish. So dear Matt, I just finished reading your post and I see that there is a lot of anger in many half-truths that you said. I guess that we touched a sore point here. I would be kind of sore as well if this company just sent out all these headphones and kind of like impersonated me, acting like they were WordPress, because I do guess that some of these influencers who received it, or these headphones, they really thought it was from WordPress. So it was a little bit strange. Why are you so angry? Don't you agree with the shortcomings of WordPress that we raised? We really tried to be fair and only speak about what we know to be a consensus. Considering that you started talking negatively about Wix from the beginning, I find it to be a bit hypocritical. I believe in friendly competition. Competitors push each other by competing. When you guys wrote about issues with Wix like SEO and performance, we didn't complain, we owned it and we worked hard to fix it. Now we have great SEO and performance is almost where it should be. We only wrote about valid issues with WordPress, high maintenance, issues with plugins, memory issues, and securities. So why don't you guys do what we did? Admit it, own it, fix it. Even you guys at WordPress have things you need to fix and improve. Instead of writing nasty blog posts, fix those problems. See, this is where it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because they went after WordPress and they initiated this. And yes, I really care about these things. I mostly care about WordPress's security. It's so popular, I'm sure my credit card details are on many WordPress websites. It'll be great if you fix security so we can all feel safer. If you don't think there's a real issue, I'd be happy to hear why. I'd like to talk about some of the things you publish about Wix, because I think people deserve the full pictures. You wrote a post that blamed Wix for stealing WordPress code. I'd like to remind you that the code wasn't developed by WordPress, it was GPL. We didn't steal it and we gave it back according to GPL. You also blame Wix for stealing your brand. Your brand was all about blogs, not websites. Our homepage was never a copy of yours. If anything, it was the other way around. Blah, blah, blah. Quick search on the internet shows that WordPress also has pages that compare Wix and WordPress, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to just scroll down. I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to go through a couple things. You also claim that we don't allow customers to export their content. There are many tools that make it easy for our users to take their content and move to other services. We never block them, nor have we prevented anyone from using other services. So I thought this is interesting because if it's easy for your users to do something, you would think you would build it into your main user interface, not have to rely on doing Google searches for third-party tools that you may or may not know exist already. You also wrote that other platforms allow you to take your site and use different hosts. Shopify is an e-com platform, but you can't take the e-commerce functionality. You always have to run the e-commerce from Shopify servers and pay them a monthly fee, blah, blah, blah. So after this, there is a kind of like an interview where the last, I would say 1/4 of the interview, Matt here, which is the original person who wrote the defense article, I would say, talks about the conflict here between Wix and WordPress on this little sort of video / podcast. And so you can just get more of a rundown for the situation at will. So here's my opinion about the situation. It's strange for Wix to attack WordPress because while there probably is an overlap in the demographics of the users between both Wix and WordPress, they're quite different products. I've always seen Wix as being for the individual who knows nothing about the web, knows nothing about HTML, CSS, doesn't want to tinker with all that stuff. And then I saw WordPress as for people who actually kind of know what HTML is, what CSS, and they have more of a technical background. Because let's admit it, at the end of the day, WordPress will give you more flexibility and more customization and essentially the ability to create more unique products than what Wix offers. So why can't the two coexist? And why would you be trying to siphon off WordPress users? Now, maybe there are people who use WordPress who don't know anything and don't want to mess with anything. So maybe that's what they're thinking. But I don't know. It seemed to backlash. But then again, it has a lot of people talking about it. I uploaded a video about it. What I want to know is what you think about it, especially from those of you who've actually used both Wix and WordPress. I've only ever used WordPress, and I haven't used it admittedly for years upon years. But I do know enough that the issues that were raised by the Wix people and the Wix ads, like the plugin, like the security issues or the memory issues and things like that. This is one of those things where because Wix or WordPress rather is such an open market, you have the flexibility to create your own template that maybe doesn't use hardly any plugins or anything. So really, it's they're painting it as a broad stroke when that's not necessarily the case. Anyhow, let me know what you think. Like I said, from people who've used both, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I thought this would be an interesting video. I have a big course announcement coming up in a couple days. Hopefully you will check that out, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.